Let's be real. The hardest part about entertaining at the holidays is getting all the dishes on the table at the same time. Well, today's recipe is gonna make that a little bit easier. Hey everybody, Kristen here. As you know, I believe homemade is best, but it doesn't need to be complicated. And today I'm gonna share with you a recipe that millions of people have loved through the years. This is my recipe for Crockpot mashed potatoes. These mashed potatoes are buttery, creamy, and the best part, they can be held on warm for up to 4 hours, so they are a great recipe to prep in advance to make entertaining that much easier. Let's show you how it's done. Start this recipe by scrubbing 5 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes. I recommend using Yukon Gold potatoes for their buttery, rich texture, and you want to plan on 1/2 pound of potatoes per person. I also recommend having a bowl of cold water next to you so that as you peel the potatoes, you can pop them in the water, and that way they won't brown as you work through the potatoes. Once your potatoes have been peeled, chop them into about 1-inch cubes. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want them to all be about the same size so that they cook evenly. At this point, you can opt to cover your cubed potatoes with cold water, add a little bit of salt, cover and refrigerate for up to 12 hours. Then when you're ready to make your mashed potatoes, just simply drain off your cubed potatoes and it makes it that much easier, which is perfect on a holiday. And now we're ready. This comes together super quickly once your potatoes are peeled and cubed. So I have my 5 pounds of cubed potatoes here, and then I have 1 cup, that's all you need, 1 cup of chicken stock or vegetable stock. Today I'm using vegetable broth because I have some vegetarians that will be at my Thanksgiving dinner. And then I also have 3 cloves of peeled garlic. That's optional. You do not have to add the garlic, but I like the sweet, mellow flavor it adds to the mashed potatoes. It's gonna soften and almost become like roasted garlic as it slow cooks here. You're gonna add in about a teaspoon of kosher salt and 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. If you had salted butter, just omit the salt and you can adjust the salt after it slow cooks here. I know what you're thinking, only 2 tablespoons of butter? That's all you need for this recipe. You can certainly add more, but I find that it's not necessary at all with the buttery Yukon Gold potatoes. And we are gonna add some cream after these slow cook, and so they're really rich and buttery. Of course, you can add more butter after these potatoes slow cook. I mean, it's the holidays. No one's going to complain about that. At this point, you pop your lid on your slow cooker, and then you want to plan to cook your potatoes for 3 to 4 hours on high or 6 to 7 hours on low. You want them to be exceptionally fork tender so that they just fall apart easily after they slow cook. Once your potatoes are nice and fork tender, remove the lid here. And then the key to really creamy mashed potatoes is not just to cook them until they're tender, but you want to use a handheld potato masher. This is not the time to use a handheld mixer or a blender or a food processor. That would cause your potatoes to become gummy, and nobody wants gummy mashed potatoes. So we're just gonna go ahead and mash these potatoes right into that cooking liquid. That's why we used broth and not water. We're just, it works to flavor your mashed potatoes up there, and you just want to mash them until they're nice and broken down. That looks good there. To this, we are going to add in some cream or milk. Use any cream or milk you like. You want to warm this up. I have 1 cup of cream here. I warmed it up in the microwave for about 45 seconds just to take the chill off, and that'll help so that my potatoes won't seize. I'm gonna add in about 1/2 cup to start. We can add more later here. Mash that up there. They're starting to look super velvety. See a couple little bits of garlic in there that I'm gonna smash up a little bit more. Smells so good. Okay, I think I'm done with the masher now. It doesn't take much effort at all because our potatoes are so soft and tender. I'm gonna add in 1/2 cup of full fat sour cream here. Don't use fat-free. You can certainly use reduced fat, but full fat I do recommend. We didn't add much butter, so you wanna go for the full fat. If you have it on hand, never use fat-free. It will just give your potatoes a watered down, almost artificial taste there. The sour cream adds a tangy richness to the potatoes that's just unmatched. To this, I am going to add in 1/2 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. This is optional. This is something my family loves. We love garlic and Parmesan in our mashed potatoes. Totally, totally optional, but I promise you, even with your holiday meals, especially like ham and turkey, the garlic and the Parmesan really taste delicious and pair well with the gravy and all the side dishes. You can certainly omit. And at this point, you can add more cream if you need it. I'm gonna add in just a little bit more. We're gonna give it a taste just to see if you need to add any salt. The amount of salt that you need to add is going to vary. It's gonna be dependent on the sodium in your broth, whether or not you added Parmesan cheese, and if your butter was salted or unsalted. These are looking super, super creamy and delicious, but let's give them a taste. You guys, we only added 2 tablespoons of butter for 10 servings of mashed potatoes. And I am telling you, the Yukon Gold makes a world of difference. These potatoes are so buttery. They melt in your mouth. They're just perfect and they're delicious. And the best part is we can pop our lid back on our slow cooker and hold these on warm for up to 4 hours. Talk about easy for the holidays. You guys are gonna love this recipe, and if you're looking for an easy way to prepare a juicy, tender turkey, be sure to catch my next recipe where I share with you how to make Instant Pot turkey breast. Until next time, happy cooking and happy holidays.